Ever feel like you're just drowning in financial advice, but you're kind of no closer to actually understanding wealth?
Yeah.
We're diving deep into Rich Dad, Poor Dad
Yeah.
today to help you decode Kiyosaki's ideas about money. And they're controversial sometimes,
Right.
but they always make you think, don't they?
Absolutely.
So picture this, right? Two dads, one's rich, the other, well, not so much.
Okay.
And they're shaping their son's views on money in totally opposite ways.
Interesting.
That's what Rich Dad, Poor Dad is all about at its core.
Right.
It's not really about like specific tactics even. It's more about like shifting your whole money mindset, like how you think about money completely.
Yeah, I see that.
And Kiyosaki, he throws out some real curveballs in this book. Like, get this. He says, your house, it isn't really an asset. And the rich, they don't work for money. Money works for them.
That's a pretty radical idea right there.
Yeah.
What's interesting is how Kiyosaki really challenges those like deep-seated beliefs we have about money. Like that whole thing about working for money.
Oh, tell me about it. That's like drilled into us from the time we're kids. Get good grades so you can get a good job, work hard, and then, only then, you'll be financially secure.
Exactly. It's like the formula, right?
Yeah.
But Kiyosaki, he flips that on its head with this central idea. He's like, the rich don't work for money, they have money work for them. And it all comes down to this: building assets that generate income even while you're sleeping, not just constantly, trading your time for a paycheck.
See, that's where that whole rich dad concept of a financial pipeline comes in, right? Building something that, like, delivers that income consistently instead of just endlessly filling up buckets.
Exactly. You got
Yeah.
it. And, a lot of people, they hear passive income
Mm-hmm.
and they immediately think, oh, he's talking about real estate. And while Kiyosaki, yeah, he's a big real estate guy, he really emphasizes that a true rich dad mindset, it's always looking for those opportunities everywhere, not just in one place.
It's like he's always saying, think outside the box.
Exactly.
And he tells that story. You know the one about Ed and Bill, the two water carriers? Ed's hustling, right?
Yeah.
Carrying buckets of water all day long.
Right.
While Bill, he's off building a pipeline.
That's a good one.
It's such a clear metaphor for working smarter, not harder. But I feel like there's like a deeper layer to it too, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Kiyosaki's not like praising laziness or anything.
Right.
What he's really getting at is how Bill built that pipeline. Like that took planning, learning new skills, probably some serious negotiation with the villagers to actually get it done.
Mm-hmm.
That's the work that people, they don't always see.
Yeah. They just see the end result, not all the effort that goes into it beforehand.
Right.
Like, yeah, building a business, investing in stocks that pay dividends, those things. They take effort up front, for sure.
They do.
But it's about creating systems that work for you this time.
Yes. Instead of the other way around.
Not you working for the system.
Exactly. Think about it. Someone who writes a book, they do it once, but they can earn royalties for years. Or an online course, they're not actively trading their time for dollars at that point. Their asset is.
Which brings us to another one of Kiyosaki's bold claims. He says, and I quote, "The rich buy assets. The poor only have expenses. The middle class buy liabilities they think are assets."
I got to be honest, that one tripped me up a bit at first.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in those traditional definitions. But Kiyosaki, he wants us to shift our perspective on what truly holds value.
It's like he's questioning everything we thought we knew.
And an asset, in Kiyosaki's view, isn't just something you own. It's got to be something that actively puts money in your pocket. Liabilities, though, those are the things that are constantly taking money out.
And that's where his whole argument about your house not being an asset comes in, right?
Exactly.
Because even though, yeah, it might increase in value, you've got your mortgage payments, property taxes, maintenance, all those expenses just pile up. It's like a never-ending cycle sometimes. Kiyosaki uses a really powerful image in the book. He talks about a cash flow diagram. And for someone stuck in that rat race, their income comes in, but it's immediately sucked right back out by expenses.
And that includes all those expenses tied to liabilities that they mistakenly see as assets.
Right.
Like that woman in the book, remember her? The one who thought owning a boat meant she was rich, but it turned out it was actually draining her finances with all the upkeep costs, docking fees. I bet a lot of people listening can relate to that feeling of, wait a minute, this thing I thought was making me secure is actually the thing that's holding me back.
That's the aha moment he wants people to have. It's not about like feeling bad if you have a mortgage or you enjoy having a boat. It's about honestly assessing if your spending aligns with what you really want to achieve.
It's like they say, you got to spend money to make money, but like, maybe Kiyosaki would be like, hold on a second, you got to spend money wisely to make money. And one of the best investments, like the very best, according to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, is investing in yourself, your financial education.
He's really serious about that,
Yeah.
like really adamant. Kiyosaki's point is that most of us, we're working with this like limited financial vocabulary.
Totally.
We're stuck with what we learned in school or didn't learn, really.
It's true. They teach us how to balance a checkbook, but they don't teach us how to make our money actually work for us. It's like, hello, isn't that kind of important too?
Right. And Kiyosaki's basically saying, look, if you want to play the money game, you better learn the rules.
And like not just the rules, but the actual strategies,
Yeah.
like the different ways to win that they don't always teach you.
Absolutely.
It's like trying to play chess when you only know how to move the pawns.
That's a good way to put it. It's like navigating this whole financial world without a map or a compass.
Okay, yeah, that analogy, that makes total sense. So where do we even begin? Kiyosaki talks about finding a mentor, someone who's like already doing what you want to do, who's already achieved it. But how do you even find a person like that?
Well, it starts with being open, being curious. Just look around. Who do you know who's like really good with their money?
Right.
Who seems to have their money game all figured out? Maybe it's someone in your family, a friend, someone you like admire from afar even. Kiyosaki's big on this. He's like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
And this goes back to that working smarter, not harder thing, right? Learning from what someone else has already gone through, their wins, their losses, that can save you so much time and hassle.
Totally. A good mentor that can give you guidance, support. They can even open doors for you that you didn't even know were there.
It's like having a secret pass or something.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kiyosaki actually tells a story about how his rich dad, he taught him to negotiate his first real estate deal. And get this, he was just a kid at the time.
Wow. That's starting him young. It makes me think about those old apprenticeship programs, where you learn a trade from a master craftsman.
Yeah,
Maybe finding a financial mentor is kind of like that.
it is. And like any skill, mastering your finances, it takes practice. You don't just wake up one day and know it all.
Yeah.
And that's where another key lesson from Rich Dad, Poor Dad comes in. He says you have to master the art of the deal.
Okay, I gotta say, when I first read that, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Am I supposed to be like on Wall Street or something, making deals? I don't even know the first thing about that.
I think a lot of people feel that way.
Mhm.
But it's not about being like this high-power tycoon or whatever. What Kiyosaki means is this. You have to develop an eye for value, recognizing opportunities when you see them, and not being afraid to negotiate.
It's like being proactive,
Yes,
not just sitting around waiting for something good to happen.
it could be something as simple as negotiating a better rate on your car insurance, or as complex as investing in a new company. It's about going from being a passive consumer to an active creator, like you're creating wealth.
So it's about taking control, making your money work harder for you this time. It's a total mindset shift, isn't it?
Absolutely. And this brings us to another super important principle from the book. Paying yourself first. It sounds so simple, almost deceptively simple.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that before. It's like classic financial advice. But I'm curious, what's Kiyosaki's take on it?
He says that most people, they prioritize paying everyone else first.
The bills, the rent, yeah.
Exactly. Their bills, their rent, or their mortgage, their fund money, whatever. And then, if there's anything left over, then they think about savings.
Which, let's be real, for a lot of us, that leftover amount is like next to nothing.
Sadly, that's true for a lot of people. But Rich Dad thinking, it flips that whole script. You pay yourself first by taking a portion of your income and putting it towards savings, investments, before you even touch the rest of your expenses.
So you're making your financial future like a non-negotiable.
Exactly. It's about being disciplined enough to consistently put money towards building wealth, not just hoping it'll magically appear someday.
And that's huge, right? Like that shift, just changing how you see it, putting yourself first, that's a powerful first step.
It really is. It's like you're laying down that first brick, building a solid financial foundation.
Yeah, I like that.
And then from there, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it encourages us to explore all these different avenues, for making our money work for us. We've talked about real estate, stocks, even creating something like a book, an online course, that intellectual property. But Kiyosaki, he also hints at something else, something even more, I don't know, next level.
You're talking about that idea of having assets that make money, generate income without you having to actually own the whole thing, right?
Exactly.
That's like, I don't know, it seems more advanced.
It can feel intimidating at first, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's really about like collaboration, looking for opportunities beyond those traditional routes.
Okay, I'm following you.
So think about it. Have you ever heard of like real estate syndications, partnerships?
Vaguely, yeah.
So imagine you're pooling your resources with other investors, and together you own, say, a piece of a big apartment complex
Oh,
or
interesting.
a commercial building even.
Okay.
So you're a part owner, right? You share in the profits, but you also get to benefit from the experience of whoever's managing it day to day.
So it's less hands-on.
Exactly. It's like being part of a team, and you're all working towards this shared financial goal.
And that opens up a lot more possibilities, I'd imagine, for someone who maybe doesn't have a ton of money to invest up front.
Exactly. Kiyosaki's always challenging us, like, don't limit yourself, think bigger. Who says you need to be some kind of real estate tycoon to own a piece of a skyscraper? It's about finding those creative ways to participate in bigger deals, tap into the power of, like, collective investing.
It's like that saying, right? Two heads are better than one. But in this case, it's more like many wallets are better than one.
Exactly. And the beauty of it is you can really diversify that way. Spread your risk, maybe maximize your returns.
It's like building that diverse portfolio, but on a much bigger scale.
Yeah. Think bigger, aim higher. Don't be afraid to try something different.
Love it. And that really seems to be what Rich Dad, Poor Dad is all about, right?
Yeah.
Challenging how things are usually done, questioning what we think we know, and like giving you the tools to take control of your own financial future.
Absolutely. It's about changing that relationship you have with money.
From like fear and scarcity to more abundance and opportunity.
Exactly. And it all starts with your mindset, being open to learning, and then actually taking action.
So if you're ready to start thinking like a rich dad, go read the book. Explore those ideas, see where they lead you. Remember, financial freedom, it's not the destination, it's more like a journey.
And like any good journey, it's best enjoyed with a curious mind, an open heart, and you got to be open to, the unknown.
I like that. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that it's got your wheels turning, maybe inspired you to take that next step on your own financial journey. Until next time, keep those Rich Dad lessons in mind. And remember, you have the power to create the wealth you want.